Meanwhile, Ellen is on a train with Tom and McCoy. Oh, this was a great scene too. This was so stupid. Believing that Tom is leaving with her, but Tom knocks Ellen and returns to town to confront Raven. So Tom knew that she was going to argue with him, and that's what you should do. If you think your woman's going to argue with you, you punch the out. That's enough of this. You go where I told you to. You need someone there to take their
disclaimer. Neither of us believe that you should punch someone that you disagree with, at least not initially. But I literally wrote a note. I was like, he straight up punched her. What?
I just punched her right in the face. Even I was like, what the what's going on? That kind of came out of nowhere. He just punched her in the face.
Like, he didn't even try to convince her.
Lights, camera, and action. Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Remember those childhood movies you loved? We're going to watch them again and find out if they're still as amazing as you remember. Let's get ready to join Anna and Jimmy as they go back and watch those movies you remember being oh so awesomely good. Horror movies that scared. Comedy movies that dared.
Damn!
And action movies so preposterously ludicrous that they defied the laws of common sense. Now, here's your hosts, Anna Santos and Jimmy Coates.
Yay!
Woo!
Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Jeez, Saturday edition. I'm off. I'm so off.
It's okay, because as soon as you said, welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie, and then you just kind of stopped, I was like, I don't know what the next word is either.
No. And I honestly was just sitting there because I did a bunch of stuff, and then I'm like, supposed to be doing something. Like, oh yeah, the podcast.
It's been one of those weeks, man. It's been one of those weeks where nothing makes sense, and I have no idea what day it is, and time is really just an abstract concept. Like, I looked at the time and I was like, oh shit, podcast is supposed to start soon.
Yeah, I got everything done. I'm going, all right, what else do I have to do? I'll have to get Ann on here. So
right. That. Well, it was funny because I was waiting and I was like, it's 6:58. He still hasn't sent me.
Yeah, usually it's at least a few minutes before.
Usually at like 6:56, you're like, here's the link. And I'm like, well, that feels super early, but okay. And today I was like, right at 7:00. That's when you sent it. And I was like, oh, okay, good. We're still doing this. I didn't confuse everything in my head. This is exciting.
All right. So we are now in 1984. I know it's a long time ago. They're talking like to talk to people about 1980 now is like talking to people in 1980 about like the 1940s. Like
you don't have to say it like
I know, and it's ridiculous. But 1984 is arguably not just one of the best years in the 80s for movies. I still go back and forth between 84 and 85. All the years were great and had great movies, but 84 and 85 especially, and maybe one of the greatest years of just different genres of movies. And we are talking about Streets of Fire, definitely one that hit a different genre or ahead of its time. Actually, if it was made today, it still might be ahead of its time.
Here's the thing though, I don't know what time it is in this movie.
No, not a clue.
It's funny because I mentioned to my niece that we were doing this movie for the podcast, and I was like, yeah, I've never seen it before, and she was like, oh my god, it's the greatest movie ever. And I was like, really? She's like, I love it so much. She's like, it's terrible, but I love it. And I was like, thanks.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna like
it. I was really worried after we watched the trailer.
Yeah.
Again, I didn't hate the movie.
No.
And I will, as we go along, I will argue that this is a perfect movie. And
interesting.
And it also, actually, we got a couple comments, and one of the comments was, so it hits that line of so bad it's good type thing. But yeah, it's not like, it's a different type of movie. But let's talk about this movie.
Yeah, this movie was a lot in my brain.
It was not what I remembered, I'll tell you that. There were pieces of it that I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. Yes, I remember that.
You want to hear the most hilarious thing? As I'm watching it, I'm like, This movie feels very familiar. I feel
You
like I've
probably
seen
caught it
this
when you were
movie,
very young.
but I was like, I cannot. But it was almost like my brain put up a wall and was like, "You do not remember this." It refused, but I was like, "No, that line sounds so familiar. That scene, what?" There's there's a lot. My brain was like working overtime for this movie.
It was awesome. Oops, let's get you another. All right. Beautiful. Okay. Oh, let's talk about the poster first, since I already did it. An amazing poster.
It is a
What a
great poster.
fantastic poster. And
Yeah.
right under there, tonight is what is it's so small to me here. Hold on. There we go. Tonight's what it means to be young.
Yes.
And it's just this drawn
Mhm.
not abstract.
No, but if you remember from the 80s, it's almost like a comic book feel to the
Yes.
drawing of it. Very kind of dark. It definitely has a very like edgy aesthetic to it.
And actually and the director, I read a little bit, that's what he wanted. He wanted to make a comic book movie. He didn't like comic books and he wanted to do something comic booky but original and his own.
Yeah.
Yeah, and underneath it says Streets of Fire, a rock and roll fable. It's a great poster. It is a fantastic poster. Another one that the DVD release for years after that was this. This you had such a great poster.
I know.
Why would you Michael Pare and Diane Lane, and then the new Shout Factory did a special edition with hours and hours of extra footage and music and all that stuff, and they brought out the Blu-ray and the 4K, and that's
actually not bad.
That's not a bad pull. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And before we get into the movie and all that, I will say this: Willem Dafoe is so amazing. He might be not just one of the greatest character actors of all time, but he might be one of the greatest actors. And at this young age, because I only did a few things before this, you could tell he was. Producers and people that saw the movie must have been like, "This guy's awesome."
He is literally one of the greatest actors of our time, if not in the industry period, like from the beginning of the industry, from silent film to now.
Yeah.
That man can convince you of anything.
And he does play a lot of weirdos and villains, and
he
plays them so well. But he could play anything you want him to do, he could do. Like when he plays the gay detective on Boondock Saints, and he's a homophobe, it is awesome. Like he makes every character his own and so original and cool. I don't love everyone. I've seen some of his movies, like, what the fuck was that?
No,
but he's always good in it. Like he always brings it.
Well, and that's the really great thing about, I think, Willem Dafoe. I think he literally has, I think his agent brings him stuff and they're like, this will make you lots of money or this will solidify you as a movie star. And he's like, but I read this really weird script. Can we do that one?
I like to do
and
that.
And they're like, can't you just, but every once in a while he does something that you're like, oh, thank you for doing something mean. I'm sure his agents are like, thank you for doing thank you for being the Green Goblin. Yeah, thank you. We appreciate that. And he's like,
every now and again.
Then there's this freaky little indie film I want to do.
And then he played Count Olaf in the Shadows movie. I can't remember. That is almost impossible to find on. I don't think it's on any streaming service. It's a 90s movie where it's about the filming of Nosferatu, and Willem Dafoe plays Count Olaf, and he's actually a real vampire, and they use a real vampire as the actor, and everything goes ape shit. I think John Malkovich is in it as well.
Who also is so fucking fantastic.
Yeah, another great actor. But yeah, the posters are great. What do you think the budget was?
I feel like this was actually a pretty big budget.
Yeah,
I feel like this was very big, especially for 1984, because the amount of extras in this.
The amount 500.
Yeah, like
constantly.
I was like, holy shit, they're filling up this set with people.
And it was all set. Everything was set. Well, not the subways. But,
but everything was a soundstage.
Yeah.
Like everything. So I was like, dude, this must have gotten so expensive. Because here's the thing. A lot of times with extras, you can kind of group direct them. So you could be like, hey, guys, just walk through, kind of talk, whatever. And they
change
might
the guy's shirt.
Yeah, they might pick a couple actors and be like, okay, you're going to walk in front of the leads. Like, this is one. And that's it. These people were doing choreographed dances. There were fights. I was
Yeah.
like, holy shit, this must have been expensive.
The amount of bikes that are going through the street during the
The
first
cars.
and the cars and the
And that also confused me with the timeline because I was like, oh, it takes place in the 50s. But then
But it
I
kinda
saw
doesn't.
Diane Lane and I was like, or the 80s?
Or
Okay,
the
yeah, the
80s?
50s were very popular in the 80s. But then you hear the way they talk, and I was like, oh, I guess it is the 50s? Like it's supposed to take place in the 50s? And then you get later on in the movie, and then you're like, no, this is definitely 80s.
Well, actually, the budget was 14.5 million.
Holy shit.
14 for 1984. And he
That's
basically
nuts.
got it because he just finished 48 Hours, which was a monster hit.
Mhm.
And our director, when I say he wanted to make a comic book movie, he gave a list of all the things he wanted to put in it, and it was from his teenage fantasy, and it was motorcycle gangs and rock and roll and neon lights and big city car chases and everything he wanted in a comic book as a kid, he put in this movie.
Oh boy, did he ever.
And almost 15 million for a movie in 1984 that doesn't
That's a
have any
lot.
huge names and doesn't have that was so he got to do whatever
You
he
would
wanted.
see it for something if they had a lot of, pyrotechnics or like there was some flamage.
Yeah, a lot of
There was
bikes
some
exploded.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
One scene.
I don't think
But I
they
was
do
like,
that, but
now that you say 14.5, I'm like, that's a lot for
yeah.
And I have a feeling most of it went to sets.
Well, the one set they built some sort of giant tarp because they built the battery, the main town, everything, and they put on it cost $1.2 million to protect it so they could do rain when they wanted to and stuff like that. They didn't account for wind apparently. And had some problems. But let's take a look at how do we think it did on the I don't think it did well.
I think it did shit.
I think it was kind of a very different movie for its time. And I don't think a lot of people got it. Like even here, Box Office Mojo is calling it an action, crime, drama, music, romance thriller.
Because that's what it is. All rolled up
it is.
At the same time.
So it made just over 8 million.
Okay.
So it did lose some money, but hopefully through movies and DVDs, eventually after a few years, it made its money back. It opened up June 1st at number 5 behind Star Trek 3, which just opened, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Jesus Christ, The Natural, Break-In, but it did beat Once Upon a Time in America and Romancing the Stone. Well, I mean, it beat them. Romancing the Stone was in its 10th week. Police Academy was in its 11th week. 16 Candles within its 5th, and Footloose and Splash 16 and 13th week.
Holy crap!
It's a lot of good movies there. Like a lot of good.
I think it might have done better if it didn't have such stiff competition.
Yeah, maybe they should have saved it for like January when there was nothing being. So, but 8 million, so it didn't do well.
Yeah.
All right. What do we think of the reviews? I'm going to share this.
I feel like this is now a cult favorite. So I think reviews at the time would not have been favorable. I think now people appreciate the weird a lot more. And this movie is weird.
Very weird.
So weird. So
Scared
I think
shit at me when Ed Begley Jr. jumped out of the shadows.
Oh my God. When I was like, is that young Ed Begley Jr.? Oh.
That's surprising. 31 reviews comes in at 71%. 5,000 viewer ratings comes in at 70%. So that's most people that watched it liked it.
Yeah.
To some degree. All right. I will. I don't know what I did last week. I'll do. What do you want?
Did I do the good ones or did I do? No, I did the shit ones.
Okay. So,
and there weren't that many
ones. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So I'll do the shit ones. You can start with the good ones.
Okay. So Walter Hill directs the hell out of this. And there are more people in the cast who understand the assignment than do not. But boy, do the ones who blow it, along with some second-tier songs from Jim Steinman, render this one of Hill's weaker efforts. Original score 3 out of 5. That's Nick Rogers from the Midwest Film Journal.
And I will say this. When I was watching this, I'm like, that sounds like a Meatloaf song.
Right?
And when I did, it was written and like it was a Jim Steinman who wrote Bat Out of Hell, Bat Out of Hell
Yeah.
2, the albums.
I
So
wasn't mad
yeah,
at the music.
no, the music, even all throughout the whole thing, the different types, the tempo of music for every part of the different parts of the city, like that. Not what would that be when they were at the Battery? That really not country, but that one band that was playing with the really sexy French chick dancing. That's a favorite part of the movie for me.
It felt a little more rockabilly.
Rockabilly, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. All right, here's a 2021 from Matt Brunson, Film Frenzy. The fact that the dialogue is deliberately over the top, absolutely, doesn't make it any easier to digest. On the other hand, the visuals are pretty groovy. 2.5 out of 4. Oh, that's not bad for a bad review.
It is stellar action cinema that thinks outside the box, and it's worth watching again and again. No rating, but it's from Felix Vasquez Jr. from Cinema Crazed.
Frederick and Mary and Brusette, spiritually and practice. Sounds like this is not their type of film. All sound and fury signifying nothing. 1 out of 5. There's bad reviews here, but there's nothing written.
Yeah,
here,
I see that. The movie is right on the rock and roll, but the alternative time and place are mysteriously convincing, especially if, like me, you believe the most beautiful post-war American cars were Studebakers. Original score 3 out of 4, and that's Roger Ebert from the Chicago Sun-Times.
Wow. Eric Lurio, Greenwich Village Gazette, the first feature-length music video, and not a very good one at that. 2 out of 5.
I'm confused by this one, but this is Nell Manow, Movie Mom. She's listed as a top critic, but listen to this review. Unsuccessful, but very striking. Original score 4 out of 5. I'm like,
maybe
I don't
she meant
know
it was a box office failure, and it's
maybe, but it is very striking. But she seemed to have loved it.
I'm out of bed.
I think
we
say
a couple enough. More. Okay.
No, we covered enough.
Let's go to IMDb, the voice of reason. .7 out of 10.
That's pretty high.
Yeah, for 26,000 viewer reviews. I will start at 10. No. Yeah, I'll start. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. You start at 10.
I'll start at 10. I gotta mark that down. 10's always. Why are you working? There we go. The movie of my childhood, or the comic book action story with style. Mad Vickens, 10 out of 10.
Ahead of its time, but lasts as the quality is rediscovered. Shadow Post, 9 out of 10.
Surreal new wave cult movie. Cratcham, 8 out of 10.
Wonderful adventure in comic book style with attractive images and pulsating rock soundtrack. From Ma Courts, 7 out of 10.
A culty cult movie. Yeah. Gavin 6942, 6 out of 10.
Listen to the soundtrack instead of watching this movie. Rom Kev TV 17, 5 out of
10. How did anyone like this movie? Rain Fluke, 4 out of 10.
Famous actors we love in a simplistic, cringeworthy plot. Plato 42119, 3 out of 10.
No dance numbers, but at least Bill Paxton. I don't need your junk. 2 out of 10.
Stinky baby diarrhea in incredible proportions. Bob Zerunkel, 1 out of 10.
Yeah. And it wasn't an R-rated movie. I actually also read that he decided to have no one die. And no blood. There might have been a little blood at the end, but throughout the movie there was no blood because he wanted that. They wanted that PG rating. They wanted as many kids to go because of the rock and roll. To go. So it was PG. It wasn't very long, an hour and a half. I didn't feel it. I wasn't looking at my watch. It wasn't like that. but
No, because this movie was confounding. Like
oh,
throughout the entire thing, you're like, I have no idea what's coming next.
and who
By the
was
time it
that?
ended, I was just like, what?
I meant to go back. The sister, Deborah
Yes.
Van Valkenburg.
She's
She's been in tons. Oh, she was in The Warriors.
tons.
That's right.
She was also on. I knew her from TV.
Days of Our
That
Lives.
was
No,
Too Close for Comfort. She did that.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh God, what was some of the other stuff she was on? I think she did a lot of like late nights, not late night, but primetime stuff.
Yeah.
She was on Quantum Leap, Too Close for Comfort. Where was her? She was on Days of Our Lives, but I don't remember her from
Oh, she was
that.
one of the daughters in Too Close for Comfort, wasn't she?
Was
Is
she?
that her? I don't know.
She might have been.
Very familiar. Like as soon as I saw her, I'm like, I know
Or she
you.
might have been a mom.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
I'm pretty sure she played multiple moms on multiple shows. And I feel I'm double checking right now, but I'm like, I could have sworn I saw her on an episode of Murder, She Wrote. Oh, she was on an episode of Cagney and Lacey,
Oh, there you go.
which is probably also, and MacGyver. She did an episode of that. Picket Fences, which I really loved. Love that show. Quantum Leap. Star Trek.
No, she
Deep Space
was
Nine.
she was the daughter.
Oh, was she?
She was the black-haired daughter, and the other one was the blonde daughter. Too Close for. Actually, I remember liking that show.
I remember liking it too, but I haven't.
I really remember
thought of it
liking. What
more.
was his name? The gay neighbor. He was friggin'. Ted Knight was funny, but Monroe
I think so. Hold on.
or Jim. Here we go.
Oh yeah,
Jim
you're
J.
right.
Bullock.
That was a daughter.
He was awesome.
Oh God, he was so good.
Yeah, he was funny. He's really funny.
He was.
I remember liking the show. I don't know if I'd like it now, but yeah.
I mean, you never know. You never know. I'm rediscovering a different world right now, so.
A different world.
Yeah, I decided to do a rewatch, and I was like, "Will I still like this?" Like, I remember loving that TV show, and so far, yes, I do love it. So, but yeah, as soon as she popped up, the sister, I was like, "I know you. I've seen your face so many times." That was
All right, so
movie.
We did the ratings, box office. Let's go. Last week we did our sneak peek trailer watch where we predicted whether or not we're going to like this movie or not. So let us watch that as I get it. And then when we come back, we will review it.
Mm-hmm.
Roll this year so far. We have not really had a movie. Hey, this might come to a screech
you've ever seen before.
We're on a roll. This year so far. We have not really had a movie. Hey, this might come to a screeching halt for our next movie. I think I made a mistake. This might be a Steel Dawn mistake.
Wait, this is another movie that I have not seen, but you remember loving.
This is a Jimmy pick, but it's by a director called Walter Hill. And Walter Hill, for those that don't know, has made some of my favorite movies as a child. He has made, let's say, Trespass with Ice Cube, Ice-T, and what's his name there? Sorry. It's the one where they go searching for the gold in the house. Will Paxton and William Sadler.
Okay.
Bill Paxton, sorry. Great movie. He also made 48 Hours.
Okay, yeah.
He also made Last Man Standing with, oh my God, Die Hard. Bruce Willis, Jesus Christ. Crossroads with Ralph Macchio. Brewster's Millions with John Candy and Richard Pryor. He made The Warriors, one of my all-time favorite movies. That's the gang movie.
I have not seen that since the early 90s.
He made a movie. He made Extreme Prejudice. He made Red Heat, which we have. He's made a lot of great, iconic 80s movies and 90s movies. This movie, I think I may have made a mistake. And I remember as a kid watching this and liking it, I think.
Oh, Lord.
And let me give you a little bit of history. For some reason, when I was a kid, like this movie has Diane Lane, Rick Moranis, Willem Dafoe. It has, and it also Bill Paxton, tons of people, but also stars Michael Pare. And when I was a kid, my mom and dad and my aunt and uncle, like the aunt and uncle that did everything with us type thing, watched movies, loved Michael Pare. I remember the Philadelphia Experiment with Michael Pare, where they're in the 60s or something and they come to the 80s. They time warp to the 80s on some sort of war movie. They loved Eddie and the Cruisers, the rock and roll movie, and they loved this movie. Michael Pare was huge for a little bit in the 80s. I think this is a musical. Not 100% sure, but I think it's a musical. And it's a gangland musical, I think. And I just remember liking it, and then the more I looked at it, I'm like, might not. I might not like it.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
So there is a special edition on Shout Factory. Shout out to Shout Factory. So let's watch. You've never seen it.
I've never seen it. I don't think.
I remember it's Diane Lane is a rock star. She's kidnapped by this weird gang leader, Willem Dafoe. Michael Pare, I don't know if he's hired to go get her or he's the boyfriend, and they go into this gang area that no one goes into to try to retrieve her. Sounds cool. But I don't. It might be cool.
Maybe.
It might not be. All right, so let's take down the banner. Let's share the screen. Let's watch the trailer and then make our predictions. All right, there it is. All right, ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do this.
I'll be coming for her, and I'll be coming for you, too.
Sure you will, and I'll be waiting.
You are about to enter a world unlike any you've ever seen before, where rock and roll is king. The only law is a loaded gun, where the beautiful,
Stay and see the show. It's really good.
the brutal,
I want Tom Cody.
and the brave all meet
From now on, it's for real.
in Streets of Fire.
You're lying in your bed and on a Saturday night, you're sweating buckets and it's not even hot. But your brain has got the message and it's sending it out to every nerve and every muscle you got. You've got so many dreams that you don't know where to put them, so you better turn a few on the blues. Your body's got a feeling that it's starting to rust. You gotta rev it up and put it to use. And I don't know how I ever thought that I could make it all alone. When you only make it better, then it's better me tonight. I'll be there for you tonight. And if you don't have anywhere to go, you go down on the pedal and you're ready to roll. Even if you don't have anywhere to go, you go down on the pedal and you're ready to roll. That must be all you'll ever need, all you'll ever need to know. Darling, darling, you and me, we're going nowhere slowly. And we gotta get away from the past. There's nothing wrong with going nowhere, baby. But we should be going nowhere fast. Everybody's going nowhere slowly. They're only fighting for the chance to be last. There's nothing wrong with going nowhere, baby. But we should be going nowhere fast. It's so much better going nowhere fast.
Now, from the creators of 48 Hours, Universal Pictures presents Michael Pare, Diane Lane, Rick Moranis, and Amy Madigan in a Walter Hill film, Streets of Fire.
Wow.
That trailer was mostly song.
It was almost all song,
Yeah.
like a music video.
Yeah. Yeah. A little concerning.
It wasn't
Little
the
bit.
high action gang movie I was thinking in my head. And as I got closer, I'm like, oh no.
See, but when I saw Michael Pare, I was like, oh, I remember him.
He was great. And he's still
Still acting a lot. Yeah.
He made a
But
great werewolf movie in the 90s, and he made a great movie with Michael C. Hall. Was that the kid from 16 Candles?
Yeah.
And Vacation? Yeah. About an actor that wants to do like a Top Gun movie.
Yeah.
and he goes and trains with actual Top Guns, and Michael C. Hall is the actual actor, and Michael Pare is the actual Maverick guy.
Nice.
But this movie, I mean, Elizabeth Daly is in this, and if you don't know who that is, she played Dottie from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, the little girl that liked Pee-wee Herman. Bill Paxton, Richard Lawson, Amy Madigan, I forgot was in it, Rick Moranis, Willem Dafoe, Diane Lane, and Michael Pare is a very good. I really liked his movies as a kid. Mostly like my parents were watching it, so we had to watch it. But yeah, so I don't know.
It was funny though, because when you see him in this trailer, I was like, okay, either I have seen this movie, or he dresses like that and holds a very large gun in another movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if I'm confusing, but I do not remember watching this movie ever, and I feel like I would have. So I'm very intrigued to see what this movie is, especially since you now have a suspicion that it might be a musical.
Yeah, I think. And with that trailer, this is the first time I watched this trailer.
Yeah.
It looks like music it obviously plays a big role in this movie.
I am very interested to see what the soundtrack is like.
It's either going to be really cool, nostalgic, surprisingly gang, because Willem Dafoe is awesome. I love Willem Dafoe. And it's going to be kind of cool, ahead of its time type thing, which is great. Or it's going to be really bad, which is also great.
I do enjoy a really bad movie, so
I'm this isn't the clear-cut Mad Max action-packed movie that I thought it was. This is a very music-heavy, but there does look to be a lot of action. A lot of bikes exploding and people getting shot at and punched in the face, probably by rocking out. I don't know. We will find out.
I'm excited to watch this.
Yeah, me too. I don't know if I'm going to buy it. This might be a hopefully find it stream or at least rent it before I.
Yeah, I think that's a good
buy
plan,
it.
my friends. That's a good plan. That's a very good plan.
All right. So when we come back next week, we will take a look at Streets of Fire with Michael Pare.
You heard them. Movie time. Let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves a treat, and then watch a classic kick-ass movie from whenever the one we're about to watch was made.
Oh, every time. Nope, too hard. There we go. I do that every time too. All right. You watch Streets of Fire.
Yes.
I watch Streets of Fire. What's your initial thoughts?
This movie is weird.
Yeah, to say the
Fucking
least.
weird. It's so okay. Here's the thing. It is weird. It is fucking weird, and it's a little confusing, and it feels like it feels like they took a musical in theater, put it on film, but then changed all of the songs to dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I'm saying? It's the weirdest vibe, but I'm like, this would make a really great actual musical where they sing the dialogue.
I actually thought the exact same thing. I thought this should be on Broadway or
right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to actually change anything about it.
Put in a couple more lyrical songs and that's it, you're done.
Well, you could literally conversations, or when people are describing, you can just have them sing it. Just really short songs. They don't have to be, not every song needs to be 4 minutes long.
This would probably be an amazing musical.
It would be an amazing musical. Amazing. And I'm just but it felt like that adds to the weirdness.
Yeah.
Because also you can't pin down the time frame.
No, it's actually said to be in a dystopian future.
The fuck?
Yeah.
I did not get that.
Nope.
But now I kind of do, but don't. Because I'm like, what dystopian future? Are you is that a magical typewriter that the sister writes the note on, that he gets it and then shows up a day later? What is happening? This movie is so fucking weird. But I liked it.
I did not like this movie.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. And yeah, I don't know if it's a guilty pleasure or so bad it's good.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, it's 90% of the dialogue is one-liners.
Yes, and
Rick Moranis
terrible.
Rick Moranis only speaks in one-liners. Some are good,
100%.
some are silly, some
But all of them are taglines.
yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
every single one. It's not even just a one-liner. They're all taglines.
Yeah.
They're all Rodney Dangerfield like.
That's what Rick Moranis came across as.
Yes,
Take my wife,
100%.
please.
Yes.
I get no respect, that type of stuff.
Yes, but it's not that far off for everybody in this movie. They
No.
all kind of talked like that. And it was the weirdest vibe. I'm not mad at it. I don't know how much I love it, but I'm not mad at it.
No. From the 50s diner and the
50s diner where Riva and the other like staff are dressed like it's the 80s.
yeah.
But then the minute you walk outside, they're all driving Studebakers
Yeah.
and they're dressed as if it's the 1950s. But then you see Ellen singing on stage. She's
80s.
dressed like it's 1980.
All
but
the men's haircuts are 50s.
Yes, but because there was a weird time in the 80s where the 50s was super popular. So
Yeah.
you had a lot of guys with like the pompadour hair or girls wearing skirts that felt very like poodle skirt-esque and the cute little like sweater sets. Like, so I was like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
Now you say it's a dystopian future, and I'm like, what the fuck? That
From
was not
that
even one of my options.
meatloaf rock and roll to the rockabilly to this movie was never quiet. What's that? The black group. What's that?
Oh,
the acapella singing
oh God, I forgot it started with an S.
and that's like, I don't know if that's 50s or 40s.
Most of it was from the 50s.
50s, okay.
Where you had a lot of like, it was like the Motown kind of R&B, where you had a lot of male singing groups. There were some white ones. We're not going to deny that they existed, but a lot of them were black.
Yeah.
And they were fantastic.
Maria Jahan, Torchy's dancer, the stripper in the club for no apparent reason.
Right?
Which was one of my favorite scenes. I could have watched her dance all night. Oh my God.
She had a dancer's I was like, that is a professional.
Oh my God. Yeah, like
that was a dancer's body. I was like, that girl trained. I was like, deep in my soul, I was like,
1 ounce of body fat on that woman's body.
So very great movement. I was like, I wonder how many years she trained, and I bet most of those years it was in ballet, like 100%.
And she was not wearing a lot.
No, she was wearing a G-string, a fishnet like body stocking, and a t-shirt that she took off at some point.
She was actually the dancing double for Flashdance. She is the actual dancer that dances in the dark and then pulls the thing and the water comes down on her. That's her.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I liked it. To my degree of liking it, it's hard to pinpoint because I'm not like on, because at first it was in another time, another place. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? And they're like, a rock and roll fable. I'm like, oh no.
Dude,
it is a musical.
My very first note was a rock and roll fable ? Exclamation point, question mark. I'm like, what the fuck?
And then the Meatloaf song, and there was not 1 second where there wasn't music being played.
Yes, and the soundtrack of this movie, hands down, I love.
Yeah,
love it. No question about it. Give me a CD of it. I love it.
I wonder if Shout Factory has an option to just watch the movie with just the music. Because the dialogue really doesn't do a whole lot. You kind of understand. No. And what I meant by a perfect movie is good guy, damsel in distress, bad guy, big kidnap, act 1. Act 2 is the adventure to go into get her. Act 3 is the standoff between Raven and Cody, and it's on paper. It's perfect. The movie itself is not perfect. I mean, Witness is like a perfect movie on paper and on film. This is not that, but I didn't hate this movie. I
didn't hate it either, and it's so funny because like after I finished watching it, I was like, I like it for its ridiculousness.
Yeah, it's like
I like it for its
so over
ridiculousness.
the top on every level.
Everything is just so extreme and weird and like illogical but logical at the same time.
Yeah.
Because you're watching it and you're like, okay, if you were to write that out in other language, this would be a perfectly logical reaction to something. But the way they're saying it makes no sense. Kind of, this is the weirdest movie.
Michael Pare, I read an interview about him and doing this movie, and this is one of his first movies, and you can kind of tell. He did Eddie and the Cruisers. This isn't Michael Pare's strongest performance. Not at all. Some of his lines are clunky, and he was not the standout in this movie. He was great, I mean, for the ridiculousness, and he looked great. But he also said that he did admit that it wasn't his best performance. Him and Rick Moranis didn't get along, and he said he was a comedian. He always made jokes, and he was always making fun of him, and it was pissing him off. And he goes, "I just wasn't in the business long enough, and I wasn't as clever as Rick Moranis, so it got under my skin." He said Walter Hill he's a great guy, great director, but he's tough as shit. If you even look at him, he looks like a cowboy from like the back in that era. And he goes, someone had like the love scene. He wasn't used to doing a love scene with Diane Lane. It was very awkward to him, and he was afraid to approach the director because he said this director was like, "Don't fucking ask me. You're an actor. I'm a director." So someone produced Joel Silver, mega producer. He produced this movie, went and told him, "Please go and tell this young actor, can you fucking direct him through this?" And he goes, "That's probably why I've never worked with Walter Hill again, because I pissed him off." But yeah, no, everyone was great in the movie. Like everyone was a standout in some capacity, not always good.
You remember everyone, and it's really funny because even like the background actors or
like
the small
bikers?
bit parts, the bikers, the cops, who you only see for like one line, and you're like, what the? But you're making this clear, and you're like, it's one of those things. Like it's so. Because in the theater, when you write like a play or something, you get there's a lot of subtext with every line because you're trying to get people as emotionally involved as you possibly can. I feel like this movie was written like a play.
Yeah.
As opposed to a movie. And the play in this movie is there's so much subtext, you don't know where to look.
Yeah.
Because there's so much in this movie. There's like subplots of romances, and then there's the weird subplot between Billy Fish and Ellen, and what is up with that? It feels very transactional. And then Raven, the fuck is up with those overalls? The fuck is that? And
it did make him look even weirder and creepier.
Yes, but for some reason, I'm like, okay, objectively, those overalls are weird. On him, they're not weird.
No, they look, it's like that.
It looks
that makes
perfectly
sense.
normal, and you're like, yeah,
that tracks.
100%. Yeah, this movie is a confuzzlement. That's
yeah, to say the least. All right, well, let's go through this movie. All right. In Richmond, a city district in a near future dystopian time period that resembles the 1950s, labeled Another Time, Another Place. Ellen Aim, lead singer of the rock band Ellen Aim and the Attackers, has returned home for a concert. The Bombers, a bike gang from another part of town called the Battery, led by Raven Shattuck, crash the concert and kidnap Ellen. Yeah, so that's the beginning of the movie. She's doing the Meatloaf song. The Bombers come in, and there were, like we said, the extras.
Theater was full.
That was a lot. That theater was full, and there were a lot of bikers coming down that street. Like a lot of them.
A lot of bikers coming down the street.
Not like a dozen, not like a couple dozen, like dozens. Like it really made it made it look their whatever you want to call this dystopian alive. Like it was an actual city, even though it only took place at a diner in some shithole called the Battery. Maybe a bar and an apartment, but not a whole lot of
There's the diner, there's the bar, there was the inside of the theater for a hot second, and then it was that same street.
Yeah, that one street for everything.
That one street.
Witnessing this is Reva Cody, who telegrams her brother Tom, like you said, the day it didn't take him long to fucking get home.
Well, it was funny because I said, "Is that a telegram or is that a typewriter?
Or a
Like,
letter.
is it a
Yeah.
letter or is it a telegram?" Because it wasn't following the telegram like rules. There was no stop. There was no, it was
No.
just it had an actual address, and I was like, "What the?" And it said, "Dear." Nobody says, "Dear Tom," in a telegram. It should be, if you're gonna put "Dear Tom," which you wouldn't, you would put "Tom, stop," because you pay per like letter, I think.
Yeah.
Per character you pay in a telegram. So I was like,
Yeah, you
"Is
wouldn't
this
get too wordy.
and you wouldn't type it yourself because that
And you
was
wouldn't
just
type it
I
yourself.
was like, "What the hell is going on?"
But it's a
But he showed
dystopian
up.
future, so maybe it's something different.
Maybe it's a magical typewriter that immediately sends the message to his magical typewriter,
Yeah,
and that's how they
she was
communicate.
typing at her house and it was coming
Yeah.
typed out at his place.
100%, because I was like, "How is he getting there the next day?" I'm confused.
Tom, an soldier, and Ellen's ex-boyfriend ask him to come home. Upon his return, Tom defeats a small gang of greasers and takes their car. Reva tries to convince Tom to rescue Ellen, but he refuses. Tom then goes to a local tavern, the Blackhawk, where he meets tomboyish fucking mechanic and ex-soldier named McCoy, and lets her stay with him and Reva. And that night, Tom has a change of heart. He looks at a picture of
Yeah.
Ellen, and then he sees the concert that he was never at, and he's
He
like,
looks at
"Fuck
the
it, I'm gonna go get her."
black and white picture of Ellen.
Yeah, like those World
I
War
was like,
II.
yes, it was like
Yeah.
a World War II sweetheart like photo. And I was like, "What the fuck?" I'm like,
And
"When the fuck is this? Did he
he's
go
like,
off to war?"
I missed that piece of ass. I'm gonna go rescue her.
That was the most
It was so dumb.
I was like, I don't understand this love story at all. Because there's not even a moment. God bless Michael Pare. Nobody's blaming you for this. This was very early in your career. But there was no like recognition in his face.
No, you could have shot
it?
like just
No.
a scene of them when they used to date at the
Y-
diner.
Anything. Give me any, but I was like, but also like it's like Ellen was taken. Nothing. Like
Nothing.
no concern, no nothing. And I'm like, "Dude, do you even give a fuck?" But then he
No.
takes out that like 1940s I'm off to war sweetheart like portrait, and I was like, "Okay, you care?"
I would have bought it more if he like was remembering banging her. It's like, oh yeah, I will save her.
And Bill Paxton was playing Clyde the bartender. This is where we meet him, and I swear nobody plays a better super hyper happy bartender than Bill Paxton.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
Which pissed off McCoy. McCoy pissed off Clyde. Clyde pissed off McCoy. They hated each other. But then Tom was there to drink with McCoy, and then they become best buddies. And I thought she was a lesbian because she told Tom, "You're not my type," or I think she told Clyde, "You're not my type." She told somebody, and then all of a sudden she was all like, "Yeah, I'd bang that," and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, I thought she was a lesbian too, and then she's like, I'm like, she wasn't hitting on Cody.
Yeah,
like that's Michael Pare, like he's the hottest guy in the movie. What's going on?
He was super hot. So I was like, "What?" And like Clyde, I get it. Clyde the bartender,
he's kinda
he was missing
goofy.
teeth. He was goofy. I'm like, I get it. You don't want to tap that, but Cody,
Tom, yeah,
I
when he holds
mean,
that shotgun, come on, rides that
objectively,
motorbike.
yeah, objectively, he is a very attractive man, and he has a very fancy car that he stole from the greasers that he beat the crap out of because they were messing up his sister's diner. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
What were they doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, dude, I'd tap his ass. Like he seemed very attractive right there. All with the gallantry and they have things in common like the soldiering.
Yeah.
Also, I think it was very rude of him to invite her to stay over at his sister's place without asking. But I like how he just like wanders into her room. I was like, where the fuck is she gonna sleep? He wanders into a room, and he's like, by the way, I invited a friend home. She's gonna sleep on the couch. Thanks. And I was like, what the especially if this is a dystopian future.
Yeah.
Like what? Why are you inviting strangers?
That night, Tom has a change of heart and agrees to talk to Ellen's manager and current boyfriend. I didn't think they would be together, Billy Fish, about rescuing her.
I did not think so either. I did
talk
not
about a
realize
mispairing. Diane Lane. I love Rick Moranis. He has made some of the funniest movies, SCTV, all that shit.
Yes.
But Diane Lane and Rick
Look, I was not surprised once I met Billy Fish.
Yeah, as the
Because then I was
manager.
like, I get it. He's one of those creepy managers
Yeah,
who's like, touch, feel. I'll make us more money.
yeah,
It's us against the world. I was like, man, this is
yeah.
like a cult.
Oh yeah, like I'm good for you, buddy. Like, tell me your secret.
I
Like,
am Diane Lane's super hot.
yeah, like yeah, she is. Yeah, yeah. She was 18 when she did this. They thought she was too young, but when she did her audition, she committed to the rock and roll thing so hard that Walter Hill was like, "Yeah, okay," because they
Yeah,
wanted
no.
Daryl Hannah,
Really?
and they didn't even want to look at Diane Lane. But I think his soon-to-be wife was her agent, something along those
Yeah.
lines. So, and then she showed up to audition, but she came in leather. She came in like looking, did her hair up and committed. And they were like, yeah, she's it.
See, I'm trying to picture Daryl Hannah.
Yeah. Not like,
And
no, I like
also
Daryl
don't-
Hannah. Don't get me wrong.
I love Daryl
Yeah.
Hannah, but I don't feel
But not
like
in
this would
this.
have been, yeah.
No,
But so interesting.
but you know, it's not like she sang the song.
Well,
She's
no,
just lip
true.
syncing.
But literally, when I was listening to it, I was like, "Who is singing the song?" Because they're very good, and it was like Liz Sargent, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. And I was like, "Oh, you're so good. You're amazing." But also, Diane Lane is 60 years old. She just turned 60.
Yeah. She just turned 60.
like 2 months ago. Super hot still.
Yeah. She
Like
is still hot.
incredibly attractive. My God, that woman looks amazing. But anyways, just thought I'd throw that out there.
She looked hot in this movie.
She's been looking hot for
Yeah.
like
I guess
40
she's never
odd
not
years.
looked hot.
She actually more than 40. Yeah, 40 years. She's been hot for 40 years.
Yep.
God bless.
Bitch. That night.
I'm still waiting for my 40 years to start because
Yeah,
it
that's
ain't
what I
never
mean.
happens.
I hate when people are like that. Fucking. That night, Tom has a change of heart. Yeah, okay. So when Reva and McCoy go to the diner where Reva works, Tom acquires a cache of weapons, including a pump-action shotgun, a revolver, and a lever-action rifle. Tom meets Billy at the diner, and Billy agrees to pay him $10,000. But Tom also requires that Billy accompany him to the Battery to get Ellen, since he used to live there. McCoy also talks Tom into cutting her in for 10% for exchange of help. Like I said, perfect. On paper, this movie is perfect. It sets up the delivery, not perfect.
Also, some of the dialogue. Let's be
the dialogue,
super fucking clear.
Not perfect.
Not good. I don't know what they were aiming for.
Fun in a what the fuck did he just say type of
yes, because it's very like cliche 1950s like gangster.
And Rick Moranis. Oh my God, that's all he did.
And he's delivering everything like he's with the Rodney Dangerfield cadence. So I was like, why do you sound so familiar? Why do you sound so familiar? And it took me forever. And then I was like, he's talking like Rodney Dangerfield on stage.
And who's like, just keeps going. He doesn't.
Yeah, everything's like a, but and I'm like, dude.
And some of it was funny.
Some of it was. Some of it, I was like,
it didn't stop.
This is not the time.
Yeah.
This is not the time for a bum ching moment. Like, and Michael Pare, Tom Cody, God bless him. Every line he delivered reminded me very much, and I'm sorry, but not sorry. Sylvester Stallone and Rocky.
Yes. Yeah.
Where he's trying for an emotion.
Yeah.
But there is no emotion.
Too much brain damage happened here.
It honestly kind of felt like it. I was like, there's a traumatic brain injury somewhere in here. And
that's what are we feeling today, Cody? I feel good.
There, dude.
That's Tom Cody. I'm gonna shoot and so get that hot chick back.
Oh yeah, and was he making his voice deeper for some lines? And
yes,
okay,
which didn't help the acting dialogue delivery at all.
It also made me question my hearing because I'm like,
I think he was trying to be like tough in those ones and went deeper, and then softer when he's or more emotional when he was talking about.
But I'm like,
Ellen
dude, it shouldn't change the baseline of your voice.
No, yeah, because Rocky made sense.
Yeah,
that was the character for this. Yeah, it didn't work.
I was like, I see, like you want to convey emotion, but there is none there.
No,
it's
no
gone.
No,
God bless.
More acting classes.
But that
he gets there in years to come.
Yes, he gets there. Not in this movie, but that also adds to the entertainment of this movie.
Like, oh my God, this is fucking horrible.
The whole interaction between Cody and Fish.
Yeah.
is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, I like it, but that's terrible.
Yeah. And then you got some McCoy standing. And again, she is I don't know how many movies she's done before this. I am guessing just on what I've watched. She is a more seasoned actor at this point in time than other people in this movie.
I'm very honestly, she was also leaps and bounds. She did not have a lot to work with. I'm going
No.
to say that about her right now. Amy Madigan, she did not have a lot to work with.
No.
But for what she had to work with, she did incredible.
Oh yeah.
Like I was just like, girl, you got this. So she did actually not that much before this movie.
Oh, there you go.
So she did 4 films: Love Child, Travis McGee, Love Letters, and Places in the Heart, and then Streets of Fire.
And then Streets of Fire. For those listening, this is the wife in Field of Dreams. This is the love interest in Uncle Buck. The dark. She's been in. When you see her, you're like, oh, her.
She did do quite a few TV shows. So she was in Chips, Heart to Heart. She did those movies that I mentioned. A couple of them were TV movies. You know, back in the day when TV movies were like a big thing. They still are. There's a whole channel, Lifetime. Lifetime gives us TV movies on Hallmark. God bless. But yeah, so she worked really, really, really steadily.
Yeah.
Through decades. So she is an incredible actor. So she had
she
a
was
little
in
more.
The movie you were talking about the other a couple weeks ago, The Hunt. She was even in that. Yeah. Bill Paxton actually seems to have got the memo.
Yeah.
And he did it. He did exactly what. Yeah, he did it perfectly. He didn't try for anything more or anything less. He was the goofy. Yeah, he seemed to get what the movie was. Where
he's like,
some of the
bartender, dystopian future.
Got it.
They're greasers and like bike gangs. Done. Gotcha.
Done.
There's a woman who doesn't want to sleep
by the
with
girl.
Me. I got this.
Get punched out by the girl. Gotcha. I'm good.
Yep.
And of course, Willem Dafoe kind of got it. He just was the creepy weirdo.
I really think he took this very
seriously.
He took it seriously.
But that helped his character.
It helped his character because his character is supposed to be crazy. Like, just like this is batshit. Who runs into a very full arena or theater to kidnap someone off stage? So you've already established this character is batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Like completely unhinged.
And you just have to look at him.
Everything that happens after that, you're like, of course.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Latex leather waders.
Yeah. Walking
without a shirt on, walking around with like a pompadour. Yeah, of course. Makes sense. Yeah. Of course.
In the Battery, they go to Torchy's, a club. Well, first they meet Ed Begley Jr. We cannot not mention Ed Begley Jr. Came out of the shadows. I'm like, holy fuck, that's Ed Begley Jr. What?
I literally wrote a note
in this movie.
I wrote a note. Hey, Ed Begley Jr.
Yeah, what are you doing here? Like, hey. You're not being funny at all. You're just being weird. Which kind of is
I
like
love
Ed
him.
Begley Jr.
A side note: have you seen him on social media?
No, last time I saw him was on Modern Family.
I think his daughter has a TikTok and she posts him.
I'll post him just
talking.
It
is the funniest fucking. He has no idea about social media, how any of that works. He's like, I just want to plug in my car and chill in the forest. Like, leave me alone, people. And it's the most amazing thing. He is a darling. He is a darling, and we should protect him at all costs. Anyways, go on.
Club where Billy used to book bands where Raven and Ellen tied up to an upstairs bedroom. Yeah, so Ellen's tied up. Raven comes in and like, hey, want to make this easy? Want to make this, we'll fall in love for a couple of weeks and then I'll let you go.
Yeah, he's like, just go.
What are you talking about?
And she's staring at him because like every time he tries to kiss her,
yeah,
she moves away. He's all like, why you gotta make this hard? Like, just make it easy.
You assaulted an arena.
Yeah.
You kidnapped someone.
Straight up
destroyed attacked the police.
Yeah.
And now you want to make her fall in love with you.
Now you're like, we're gonna be in love for a little while.
Yeah.
And I'll let you go.
No sexual assault. He's gonna do this the proper way.
He's like, that's right. Just we're gonna be in love now. Right now.
Weirdo.
But and then he goes and tries to kiss her again. Yeah. And then she just like went, and I was like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
But
no.
okay. And
But-
then he's like, why you got to make this hard? I'll come back.
Yeah. We'll talk later.
We'll
Yeah.
talk later. It's fine.
And then that's where we get the rockabilly song, which was a great song. They're an actual band for people that are watching the movie. The dancer, oh my God, makes it. It didn't help move the story forward at all, but I do appreciate it.
But my God, did they shoot a lot of
her
everything
dancing
that happened in the club?
Oh yeah,
from
rock
behind
band,
her.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I was very distracted because I know it was like, okay, you've got this dancer on like a platform or on the bar, and you're watching the band, but she kept like dropping down, and I'm like, that's her butt. She's like naked, and then they would shoot from like the other side when they were getting the door, and like her coming, and then all of a sudden she was taking off her top, and I was like, we're focusing on her a lot. Like she's
Yeah,
not
we
just
are.
like in the background. She's like dancer. And
I
I
would
was
have
like,
been fine if that was the rest of the movie.
I mean, don't get me wrong, she was an incredible dancer.
But even I will give them credit for this as well. They made it feel whatever their world is alive because there were so many people in that bar, so much going on. Even our main bad guys, Willem Dafoe and his secondhand man, walking through and where she was dancing, not really paying attention, and just off screen, made it feel alive.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Where some movies they'd have like not as many people, they wouldn't focus on the people enjoying the show, the rock band, the dancer, some people watching the rock band, a lot of the guys at the bar just watching her dance. But yeah, I don't know if it helped the plot.
It did not. It did nothing for the plot.
It
It did nothing
at all. Not at all.
However, it did really well at establishing that was like a real dive bar.
Yeah.
Like it gave you the kind of
they could have
grimy,
established that
icky,
in like
weird...
20 seconds, 20, 30
They
seconds.
could have. They took a really long time to be
not
like
the 10 minutes that they used.
That was a lot. It was a lot. And I was like, but I wasn't even mad about it because I was so fascinated with this dancer.
The dancer,
Because
the
for
music.
a while, because you don't see her face right away, you just see her body. So then I was like, that is a very slim body, very muscular. And I was like, is that a dude?
Yeah.
Is it a woman? And then you see the front and you're like, it's a woman. Is it a woman or just a very feminine looking man? And I was not enthralled, but I was like, this is a puzzle I feel like I need to figure out. Because that's how my brain works. I'm like, I need to figure out this puzzle. And then eventually I figured it out by Googling it. And I was like, oh, it's a woman. Okay. But I was like, but was that the message that was supposed to... Now I'm completely distracted about this whole bar scene. Because I'm like, but what does the dancer mean? Because we spent a lot of time with the dancer in frame, front and center.
And
so
she doesn't really look
why?
like the rockabilly fan.
Yeah, no, not dressed rockabilly,
No.
not even sexy rockabilly.
No one
A
in
lot
there
of
looked
rockabilly is sexy.
rockabilly.
Nobody looked rockabilly. But I was like, what does the dancer mean? Because there must be a good reason. She's front and center for so long.
Yeah.
There is no good reason.
No.
There is none.
She was dating a producer or the direct something. Someone high up.
Or
he had to put her in.
Someone was just like, she's hot, she's a great dancer. Let's put her in a fishnet body stocking and put her on a bar. Yeah, that sounds good. And everybody's like, yeah, no, for sure. But I was like, see, but this is note to all filmmakers. That's not art. Note to all filmmakers. If you're going to put someone or something front and center in your shot, in your movie for a long period of time, you better make sure it has a fucking purpose. Otherwise, crazy people like me are going to sit there going, but why? Why would you do that?
And people like me are I gotta watch that again, try to figure it out and rewatch it. She dances so good. McCoy enters and is led upstairs to one of the bombers, whom she knocks out before holding Raven and some of his gang members at gunpoint. Yeah, so she's like, comes onto the bomber. He goes into the back room with her. He's like, let's do it. And she pulls a gun on him. And then they all think that she's there to rob and take the money because they're playing cards. And Raven is like, she's not here for the money. Meanwhile, Tom creates a diversion outside by shooting the gas tanks on the gang's motorcycles and then rescues Ellen. Tom sends Ellen off with McCoy and Billy in the convertible. telling them to meet him at Grant Street underpass, and blows up the gas pumps outside a bar. Raven
was awesome.
Yeah, Raven confronts Tom. This is where we get his fashion and walking through the fire there with the hip waders.
Yes.
Raven confronts Tom and warns him that he will be coming for Ellen and for him too. Tom escapes on one of the intact motorcycles and meets up with the others. Great scenes, like
yeah,
very like him walking through the fire, and Willem Dafoe looks like a psychopath.
As everything is getting kind of blown up, even the fire, you saw blue flames in there, and I was like, God, that looks great. Like,
yeah,
it was not just like, it was artistic fire, as I like to call it. It looked almost like Greek fire, and you're like, God, that's such a great visual. And then you see crazy ass Raven walking through and you're like, man, that looks cool.
Yeah, it did. It was actually a very cool. Like he looked cool. He looked like a great villain walking through that fire like that.
Tom going to save Ellen looked like somebody was yelling at him as he was acting what he should do. Now go up the stairs. Now walk down the hall. Now stop and look. It felt very, God bless. God bless. It got better when he was facing off with Raven and it was like, I'm going to come after you. And he was like, okay. Yeah. Sounds good. See you later.
The group is then joined by Baby Doll, a fan of Ellen's, who warns them that the police are looking for the people who were behind the attack at Torchy's. To escape, the group hijacks a tour bus of the doo-wop group. Doo-wop, okay?
Doo-wop.
Group called the Sorrels. And actually, they were good too. They were
actually really good.
Yeah. The bus is eventually stopped by a police blockade. Billy tries to get rid of the corrupt police, offering them a bribe. But Tom and McCoy have to resort to holding police at gunpoint and shooting up their vehicles.
That was amazing because Billy is all like, I'll handle this. I know how to talk my way out of it. Yeah, we'll do this. And Tom is like the one who's like, you're going to talk us out of this. And he's like, yeah, I can do it. I can do it. And then he starts talking real fast and sounding like Rodney Dangerfield. And then he goes and hands him over the money. And the cop's like, nah, you offered me too much money too quick. There's something's wrong here. And then proceeded to try and arrest them. And then
the group, along with the Sorrels, ditch the bus and take the train back to Richmond.
The Sorrels were very upset about that.
Yeah, they lost.
And I actually really appreciate that. They're like,
their suitcases of clothing and
don't have my clothes. We don't have any music. We don't have our bus.
Yeah, their instruments were gone.
Yeah.
Raven meets with Ed Price, the head of the police department, and promises him no more trouble if he arranges for Tom to meet with him alone. Price plans on arresting Raven, so he tells Tom to get out of town so as to avoid any more violence. Tom goes to a hotel where Ellen and Billy are staying to collect his reward, but he takes only McCoy's cut and throws the rest back at Billy. As Tom storms out, Ellen follows him, and the two embrace in the rain. After having sex, Tom and Ellen discuss possibility of eloping. That was one of the things in Walter Hill's wish list of a comic book. He always liked the older movies where they end up kissing in the rain.
Yeah.
And yeah, they did that.
The kissing in the rain I'm not mad about.
No, the whole lead up, wasn't the greatest acted. Although Diane Lane, for being 18, and I don't know if this was her first. No, she's already done some stuff before this. But yeah, it sounds from the interview that Michael Pare was very overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And Walter Hill is the type of director like Clint Eastwood, where we're going to do one take, so get it fucking right. If we have to do more takes, I'm going to be pissed.
I could see that. It definitely felt like he wasn't, because you can tell, especially with a young actor or a new actor, when they have a very supportive director or a very supportive cast, you can tell on the screen. You can see when because there's like little technical things where you're like, oh yeah, they fucking like blocked the shit out of this scene because everybody's moving so fluidly. They all know what they're doing. Like you can see it. And there are times when I'm like, I feel like he didn't get that kind of support. No. Yeah. God bless that kiss in the rain. We all appreciate it, although it kind of looked like he was trying to suck her soul out of her body. God bless.
Yeah, I would have us kissing Diane Lane.
Because when they cut to them in the bed, my biggest complaint, also if they actually filmed like a proper love scene, it must have been really shitty if they cut it out. Yeah. Her face is still wet.
Yeah. It wasn't quick.
He's dry. Her face is, I'm like, I understand if your hair is still wet, but her face still had like rain on it. And I was like, guys, you couldn't even wipe her face.
Yeah.
Come on. Couldn't even pretend that they came in and like after they got undressed, somebody ran a towel over themselves. Like, but fine. But yeah, no, it was, I didn't buy the love that, like, and that was one of the points of contention. Billy is trying to make it sound like the only reason Tom is saving Ellen was for the money. And Ellen's like, you're only saving me for the money. And then Tom's like, yeah, fuck you. And then he gets the money and then he's like, I won't take the rest of it, but I'll take McCoy's cut. Bye. And I'm like,
Yeah, that was one of the stupidest things I've ever witnessed.
I was like, this is fucking terrible.
You agreed with them and then you threw the money in his face.
Yeah, you agreed. Yeah, 100%. I'm just doing it for the money.
Yeah.
Here's the money back.
Talk about sending mixed messages. Jesus.
I am so confused. Are you doing it because you love her or because you want the money?
You could take the money and still love her. Like you did go through a lot of danger to get her.
And essentially it's her money anyways, because it's out of the 10% that she pays her agent.
Yeah.
Who's also her boyfriend.
Price, with reinforcements, is just about to arrest Raven. This was actually one of a few of my scenes I did like, but is ambushed by an overwhelming number of bombers. That was a shitload of bikers that came.
Yeah.
And then Tom shows up, Tom Cody, and I loved it when he was going, well, my plan went to shit. Because they're like overwhelmed, like severely outnumbered with guns. Meanwhile, Ellen is on a train with Tom and McCoy. Oh, this was a great scene too. This was so stupid. Believing that Tom is leaving with her, but Tom knocks Ellen and returns to town to confront Raven. So Tom knew that she was going to argue with him, and that's what you should do. If you think your woman's going to argue with you, you punch the bitch out. That's enough of this. You go where I told you to. You need someone there to take their
disclaimer. Neither of us believe that you should punch someone that you disagree with, at least not initially. But I literally wrote a note. I was like, he straight up punched her. What?
Right, just punched her right in the fucking face. Even I was like, what the fuck? What's going on? That kind of came out of nowhere. He just punched her in the face.
Like, he didn't even try to convince her.
No.
Like, it was just like, nah,
he knew she was going to.
Yeah. He was like, nah, I'm not even going to have the fight.
Yeah. There was
I'm not going to give you enough respect so that I could have a conversation with you. Nah. I'm gonna disrespect you so badly by not even having the conversation that I'm gonna double disrespect you by punching you in the face.
Not even giving you the benefit of the doubt. You're gonna nag, so I'm just gonna punch you in the face.
I don't have time to have an adult conversation with you, so I'm just gonna punch you in the face.
That's McCoy's like, yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, she's like, don't worry,
okay. I'll get her there.
Yeah,
don't punch me. I'll get her. Whatever you say, Tom.
That was I was like, the fuck? Did he just punch her? I rewound.
That was a fucking funny. I did laugh. I'm like, what the?
I laughed at the absolute
ridiculousness
of it, because you're just like, what the fuck just happened? So you rewind and you're like, oh my god, he punched her.
I'm thinking like she might not want to fuck you after punching her in the face.
I wouldn't.
Think ahead, Tom. Think ahead.
I'd be telling Tom, I'm like, bitch, you better sleep with one eye open because I'm going to find you.
Yeah.
And when you least expect it, for the rest of your life, you're going to get punched in the face.
Exactly. Going forward, you're always going to have to be thinking, that bitch is going to
all of a sudden, you're going to turn the corner, right to the face.
Kick me in the nuts. Yeah.
Yep.
Frying pan. Something's going to happen. She's going to get me back one day.
I'd fuck that guy up for the rest of his life. Every single year. Without fail, multiple times, I would just pop up out of nowhere from behind counters, from like through doors, windows. I'd just be like, pa, and then walk away.
Yeah, one male punch to a female, that's got to be worth at least 10.
Oh, 10. It's a lifetime. No, yeah. Especially if you're not going to have a conversation. Look, unless I'm trying to steal your wallet, there's no reason for you to put hands on me.
He could have said, you know what? I think you should go. And she was like, yeah, that makes sense.
You know what I think you should go. I know, sweetie, here, why don't you drink some of this water? Like, there's a small sedative. I put some Benadryl in there. Calm her down.
Yeah.
I would have appreciated that more than just this random punch to the face.
I think you should stay. Well, I want to go with you. I want to go with you. I tried. I fucking tried to tell her. That's why I fucking punched her. No, he didn't even do that.
It's so fucking weird.
It was one of
so
the
fucking weird.
yeah, and it was fantastic.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Because he just walks away. He doesn't
Like it
even
nothing.
check on her.
Yeah.
He's just like,
Did she
punch
bump
Kate,
her
bye.
head?
Nope.
Is she like breathing?
He don't give a good goddamn fuck what happened to her. Not one good goddamn fuck.
Tom and Raven duel using sledgehammers and their fists, and Tom ultimately being victorious. Good fight scene for this weird of a music video movie.
Yes.
It was a pretty good fight scene. It wasn't like, it was well done. It wasn't like the best
It was
I've
well
ever seen, but it was,
choreographed.
it was pretty well choreographed.
Yes. Although I will say this, I think it was for that scene. My note was the Foley though. The sound effect.
Some of the sounds were a little off or
was like,
different.
"Oh,"
like
or
that.
yeah, I was
sound
like, what
that.
is that sound?
That
What
doesn't
is
sound like
that? But at this point, we've now watched what 100 and like
An hour
how
and
many
20 minutes at least.
and yeah, an hour and 20 minutes of this movie. So at this point, I'm like, anything could
yeah.
happen. Like a dragon could fly in, and I'd be like, yep, tracks.
Yeah.
100% tracks.
Another chick could walk across the screen and Tom runs over and just fucking body slams her for being there.
Tracks. 100% tracks.
And it was really good. It wasn't one-sided. It was back and forth, back and forth. They were apparently going to have it where Tom stabs him, but they thought it would be better when they were doing it if it was a fair fight and a close fight. And I agree. It was. And his secondhand man, who's also looks psychotic himself. He's a good actor. He's been in tons of stuff too, where he's like, all right, he lost. Let's go. We're out of here.
Yeah.
That's
I
that.
appreciate that.
Yeah. The defeated gang carries their leader away. Later at a concert, the Sorrells open for Ellen and her band. Tom bids farewell to first old Rodney Dangerfield, Rick Moranis there, and then Ellen, promising that he'll always be there for her if she needs him. Ellen performs on stage while Tom rides off with McCoy. And that is our movie. Yeah. Yeah, it's still ahead of its time.
But what time? What time is it ahead of?
Yeah,
Nobody
I don't
knows.
know. There has not been a movie like this since. Not that I can recall. I try to put movies that are within the realm. I couldn't think of anything. Like I put Labyrinth up there because of the music. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, just because Bryan Adams sang that song. I got Dirty Dancing because it's so heavy with the music. Knight's Tale because of the music, weird music in that. I couldn't think of a movie that maybe if The Outsiders or The Warriors and stuff, but nothing really comes close to being alongside this movie.
This is a genre in its own.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
All right. Well, what is your score for Streets of Fire?
This is one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen. And it is not a good movie. But it is not a bad movie either. And the reason why technically it's bad. Like, if there's a checklist of what a good movie has, like good dialogue, doesn't have it. It has great sets.
Yeah.
Clear story. The story is like, yes, there are very clear plot points and they move the story along, but the actual substance of it, there's no character development. There is no, you don't explore anything in this movie. Okay. But it's weird. It's weird and it's an experience. I give this movie a stream it because I'm not mad that I paid $4.99 to rent it. I'm not mad. I am a little mad that not that I had to watch it because I do think it was a great experience and I think everybody else should experience it because you will leave this movie like at the end of it you'll be like, that was fucking ridiculous. I don't know, like, is this the movie they wanted to make? What, I need to read the script because what? And I do think this is a movie that you can watch more than once. I just don't think you should pay for it. And I don't think you should. I need to watch this movie another 2 or 3 times to fully like grapple with my thoughts because it's weird. It's ridiculous. It's filled with bad acting, but also good acting and terrible dialogue, but also funny dialogue. Like there's a lot. It's like an onion, man. There's many layers. So I say stream it, and stream it multiple times. I'm not mad that I paid the $4.99, but I'm also not thrilled that I paid the $4.99 to rent it. So I say stream it. Final answer. What's your rating?
I agree with you. I don't know if it's a guilty pleasure or a so bad it's good. It's not a great movie, but it's a great movie in spite of itself. The sets are fantastic. The dialogue is horrendous, and sometimes so horrendous it's funny. The action, the acting, it's well directed. It's really hard to say. If you remember Streets of Fire, like me, it's probably not going to be the movie you remember. If you haven't seen it since like the 80s or early 90s, it might not be the movie you kind of remember in your head. And I was debating whether or not to say, like, would I buy it? I rented it as well. I'm not mad that I did. You're right. It's an experience. And it's worth checking out. The Shout Factory Blu-ray has so many behind the scenes. I would love to watch them. I would love to see, do I want to pay $25 or $20 to do that? I don't know.
I almost feel like the behind the scenes would be worth the $20.
That's what I mean. It would be
like,
worth
not the
watching
movie.
More than the movie.
Yeah.
To see all this stuff, like the making of the music, the making of the movie, because when Shout Factory does a special collector's edition, they go all out. So they have so much material, and that might be worth the money.
Yeah.
I would say, because I would watch this again. I would, because of the ridiculousness and the what the fuck moments. I'm gonna agree with you. I would buy this if I found it at a discount. If it was the same as a rental, I would buy it. I don't know if I would pay $15, $20 for just the movie. $15 or $20 for the Shout Factory, I would seriously debate it, because I really would like to see the thought process that went into this movie.
Honestly, that's what fascinates me the most about this movie. I want to know, how did everybody come to this decision?
Yeah.
Like, who was in the room and was like, yes, this is what we're doing?
Yeah. Exactly. I would love that. Might be worth $20.
That would be worth $20. The movie itself, nah.
And if you tell me that the movie, you can watch it with the dialogue or turn it off and just listen to the music and watch it, that might be worth money too, just to watch.
100%.
So I'm really conflicted. It's kind of like, if this was a pleasurable movie to watch, if I say to people, stream it, don't go in thinking you're going to hate it. You might hate it. Sorry, yeah, you really might hate it. But it is a pleasurable stream. I say stream it. If you're into it, like I am, you might look to buying to just to dive deeper into this ridiculous world. This
is the most confounding movie, because it's not so bad that it's good,
because it does have really good,
it does have some really good moments in it, and then it has a lot of really terrible moments in it, and you're just kind of like, I don't know, but it's not, you never feel like it's too long. You never feel bored.
No, you're never bored.
You're always entertained through it. So I'm like, I don't know how to feel about this movie.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a really hard one.
Like, I need to watch this movie another 3 or 4 times, but also at the same time, I don't want to watch the movie another 3 or 4 times.
And you don't want to spend more money on it.
I don't want to spend more money on it, because I feel like $4.99 is more than enough.
And now, I think $15 is the actual buying.
Yeah, and
I don't think it's not worth that.
The movie is not worth the $15. Now,
you put
if they
the
had
extras on top of that,
all the extras worth the $15, because I'm like, I want to know.
Yeah,
I want to hear the commentary.
The commentary would be. I forgot about the commentary. That would be fantastic.
It would be amazing.
Well, we were going to do this, but we did this, and
and that's what I want, because you watch this and you're like, who made that decision? Who watched the dailies and was like, we got it. That's the scene.
Yeah. So I say stream it.
Yeah.
It's an experience if you can find it. If you stream it and go, and you're like us, like, oh my God, I would love to see all that. Then I would say, like me, maybe search it out. I wouldn't like. It might be worth. I forgot about the commentary and the making ofs and the sound and the music and all that stuff. I would definitely pay $15-$20 for that. All of that together. But it would have to be that. I wouldn't pay that just for the movie.
No.
So yeah, that's a conundrum. Again, we're on a roll. Didn't hate this movie. It wasn't an experience unlike any other movie I've watched.
It was. I'm so confused by
Yeah.
this movie.
All right. And that's Streets of Fire, 1984. Yeah. 1984 was 80s. The 80s were filled with every genre you can think of and then some.
It's a decade of discovery.
Anything left for Streets of Fire?
No, I think we've said all that we can possibly say about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for coming back to 1984 and watching Streets of Fire. It is an experience. That's all we can say.
100%.
For better or worse, it is an experience if you watch it, if you remember liking it and watch it again.
Yep.
So, yes, thank you for joining us. And until the next movie we remember liking.
Congratulations. You just had one of your childhood movie memories vindicated. Or they just eviscerated it. I don't know. This is a generic one-size-fits-all type of ending to the podcast. So thank you for listening, and please join Anna and Jimmy next time for another episode of the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. If you dare to go back and watch that movie you remember liking.